Pleasant good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to today's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today is the 13th day of January 2025. This year is moving along at a rapid pace. Welcome, 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 one and all. Hope you all had a great weekend and you're looking forward to a productive week. And as you come on, as we say by now, you know the routine. Share the live, share the live. Let people know that we are on back to the normal schedule on a Monday. We were here last on Thursday because I had an appointment on Wednesday, and therefore there was no program on Wednesday. But here we are today, another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. Indeed, it is a privilege to have been allowed to see this new day. So share the life, share the life. My colleague, Mr. Conway, always ready, able, and willing to share information with you, credible information that is, and he's already in the studio, So share the live, give us a thumbs up. 400 odd on the live already, and only about 8 thumbs up. You're not doing good enough. This is a year that you should, among the promises you make, that when you come on the live, so the program goes live, you're going to give me the thumbs up to show your appreciation. Because I know you appreciate the efforts that we have been making to come here twice a week and to bring you credible, valuable information. So share the live, and we're going to get with it shortly. We have lots and lots of stuff to tell you about this morning, lots of stuff to tell you. And I urge you to make sure you have a comfortable seat, you have your Coke, your popcorn, because there are lots of stuff to tell you. You start. Remember years ago they had this very good picture, Jazz, and then they had Jazz 2. And I remember when they were advertising for Jazz 2, they used to say, just when you think it was safe to go back in the water, Jazz 2. Just when you thought the saga with Mr. Brutus is over. I don't know what number of this. So we can talk about all of those things this morning. In case you don't know what I'm referring to, Mr. Brutus has sued the government again. This is as of the 9th, I think, of this month. New lawsuit against them, man. Go, Calvin. Go, man. Go. We got to talk about it. So share the live. And we are going to go into the roll call as usual, make the announcements, and bring you the details. Oh, man. So much to tell you this morning. So much to tell you. And as I've said to you, credible information, we bring it to you, credible. And I say this to say before I go into the roll call and all of that. In recent times, over the past week or so, I see something circulating, some old things, and you must check these things before you start to share them. The first one I saw is sometime last week. Somebody sent to me a video with a police vehicle involved in an accident with a truck and something. Then I recall, no, this is not something recent. When I did the research, over 2 years ago, when the policeman, it was said, they stopped a car with a young man and a young lady inside, and the car then decided to speed away. And they gave chase, they pursued the car, and in the course of that pursuit, the police vehicle, the car they were chasing crossed into some truck, the two occupants. I got to follow the police cooperative communications unit, the 2 occupants who were inside the car. I don't know, the occupants could have been outside, but the 2 occupants of the car died. 2 years ago, they're recirculating it now. Then there was one, a friend of mine who I think is on the live now. He had an incident where he was wounded some over 2 years ago. The assailant sentenced to prison. One of these trash, what they call the one is online news sources, that the online news places aligned to the government, posted a picture recently. Get everybody in the man family traumatized because they believe it's something recent. Some long time ago, the matter finished in court. The man served time in the man was still in jail or something like that. And that is what they're doing. So I'm telling you this to say that when you hear things or when you see things, don't take it like that. Especially when the outlets, especially when the source of the information is not a credible source. Well, when you come here, we bring it to you, credible stuff. We do the research and we bring it to you. Let me try to run through the roll call. This morning, the program was scheduled just about 7, almost exactly 7. And my girl, several persons came on, but listed here, Tessa came on first from Orlando. Then it was Kenneth from Maryland, followed by Sean from New York. New York can take a left. Patricia from New Jersey. Denise came in at 7 as well. Lennox came at the same time. Earl came at the same time. Gibbo came then. And then shortly after, Puran from Essequibo Coast, Vibert, 1966, Vibert Lawson came. Carl Johnson, Pastor Smith, 9339. Winston from California, Evelyn, she came in, and then the thing goes on. 702, my squad mate Carlton, Aubrey, 1953, Peter, Joan from New Amsterdam, Cecile, Ezzy, Wayne, Michael from Mbaimadai, then you had Courtney from New Jersey, Aileen, Derek Tratty, the Canarook man, Brian, Pauline, Marcus, Paul from Canada, Floyd, Marcia, J.K. from Maryland, Francis Keith from Melanie Damashana, Mary from Brooklyn, Diane, then it was Francis Keith, I told you Francis Keith already, Amanda, John, Ivla, Simo is here, Wayne from the UK, Emerson, Smitty is here, 7464 Smith, this is Tuana, Marlon is here, Kevin, Oren from the UK, Benjamin. I got to see, last week when I ran the comments after the program, I saw Benjamin Bristol. I said, this person familiar, 8948. We were at the TSU together some years. I have a fond memory of him with a particular incident, which I'll not relate now, when I was a young officer at Venture on the quarantine. Terrence is here, 9795 from Canada. Anthony, BVI is in the house, Lyndon Reese from BVI, Barbara, Clarence, Diane, Sandra is here. Sandra is from the East Bank of Demerara. Heather is here with us. Neville, Audrey is here. Carl Hannibal, then immediately Carl Hartman. Then we have Winslow. Then it is Morton, Clive from the UK. Then after Clive is was Clay, Janella, Ovid 90937, Clifton from Paris, Malcolm, Magnell, Charles 9407, and he says he's watching from Annandale on the east coast of Demerara. Felicia, Onika, Hazel, Michael is in class. Desiree from Georgia, Melinda, then it is Barled. Barled, welcome from the hills in Linden. Run the lane, then I'm still in the house, is here with us. Maureen, Keith is vacationing in Guyana, he told me. Harold, George, 8727, Tiffany, Bonita, Ronald, Vernon, and Vernon is from New Jersey. George, caller, East Coast man. Raul Semple is here. Princess R, Lamar Springs. Rhonda Chance is here. Henrik, Lorraine, Danny say, you're back in Queens. Welcome back, Danny. Denise is here from still in GT. Umi, Pamela, then it is Farina, Colin, Kurt, Roxanne, Brenda, Forgus, TK is in class, 9135. Lucius is here. Monica, Aticia, Machu, Dexter is here with us. Carlisle, David, Grantley, Ulrich, West Coast, West Coast, Demerara. Claudius, Siobhan, Phil, Rohan Jawar here with us. Valerie, Allison, Inferno Boss. Selwyn, interesting comment there from Selwyn. Selwyn said he says good morning to you, Selwyn. He's tuned in for the latest analysis on the latest $1.6 billion claim by Brutus. We're going to deal with it. John is here. Karen, Doreen, my squad mate from Canada. Michael Brower is here with us. He's on the British Virgin Islands. Colin from New Jersey. Barbara, Clay. Then it was Jacko is here. Charlene came in with us. Original Black Man. Then this is Yonet, Everett from Texas. Robert, Cord, Alfred, Anthony from Petersall. Ian from Queens. And he's asking a question here. Ian, let me tell you this. In fairness to the old system, he asking if the commissioner ever visited the all police station for inspection and checking of cash records, crime book. No commissioner ever did that. They visit, but they will always walk with a team. In the case of Larry Lewis, I remember the team used to comprise of Peters from the finance office, who will check the cash records. I from the TSU, who used to check arms and ammunition. Them today had Pablo Yewood, who would check crime book and so on. So yeah, inspection is important, but the commissioner works with a team of people to check, not to sit at the table with him and to say things, to go and to check on the records and the system. Trevor is here, Lyndon. Then you have another Lyndon is here with us, Queenie, Claire, Derek, Mark, 7854, Joseph, Dwayne, BV Man Ezekiah is here with us. Then it is Sandrine, Angela, Lyndon, Gavin, then it is Dion, another Lyndon Cornbread is here with me, Boo, then it was Nicola, Lennox, Simone, then it was Chilo, Annette, Melville, Wayne, 17288. Then it was Ivor, National Service, ex-National Service, Donna, Colin, Marvin, Floyd, Roderick, Charles. Then it was David, Marcus, Marla, Sean, Claudius, Marva, Esla, Ryan, Abera. Lorraine is here with us today. Charmaine, O'Neill, Norbert, and the last person in the schoolyard was Dylan. He came in at 10:58. Then when we went live, Edward, as is usual, Claude, Carlton, Joyce, Stian, and the list goes on and on, Simone, Ingrid, and all of these people are here. So we have a big turnout today, and we are not going to disappoint you in terms of the information that we will provide. And let me go right away into the announcements that we have to make. It was communicated to me that we have a death in the police family. And where it is, I have the information here. The death of ex-detective Fitz Mars. I don't know him. They said his number was 6536. He recently died in Canada. That's Fitz Mars. He was a detective, and they say he was a boxer as well. And then we have some birthdays, or at least one birthday today. Ex-detective Bernice Shaw. Nisi, we call her, she a countryman. Our number was 0746. She's celebrating a natal day today. All the best to you, Nisi. Then we have some birthdays recently. Charles Britton. I think he's on the live here now. Charles. I think Charles' number was 13691 or something like that. The memory going little now. I can't remember all these numbers as I used to. But Charles is he celebrated one recently. Joseph Jeffrey. He too was a member of the organization. I remember when I worked with Cricket West Indies, every time you came to Guyana at Providence, he used to be there as one of the attendants to the dressing room. So they celebrated recently. And I want to say advance birthday greetings, I think, to one of the loyal students, Pam Alls. She's on the live here now. I think she celebrates tomorrow. I'm not sure of the date, but I know it's soon. Also retired ASP Robert Tyndall. We used to call him Diplock. Diplock is celebrating, I think, tomorrow. And retired Inspector Alan Doris is also celebrating soon. So birthday wishes to all those who are celebrating today, who celebrated recently, and who are going to be celebrating soon. Let me see what else I have to announce. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we'll deal with CC. Welcome.
Morning. Thank you very much. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. I want to shout out before that, Stephen Mansell, retired senior superintendent of police. His sister died. I think she was buried yesterday. I want to express sympathy to himself and the family. And I remember Mansell well, he was an excellent divisional commander in terms of community-oriented policing. He was second to none in terms of establishing community policing group, station management committee, youth clubs, and all those sort of things. He was there. He was way above the rest. I want to shout out to Laura Diplock. I remember him also here. We used to just read out case laws off the top of his head, left, right, and center. Bristol, I saw Bristol on Saturday, and they wanted us to go and drink a couple of beers, but I had another engagement, so I had to turn him down. So maybe some other time we will catch up. And my wife has asked me to pass on or regards to all those persons who before, during, and after a birthday interacted with our. We had a wonderful session. I did not use the stakeholders approach. I didn't go and solicit funds for a birthday. I didn't get $8.5 million, but my hard-earned cash from my children, would enable us to have a nice session for us. And my children, I must say, my children, they're hardworking children. They're all university graduates, master's degree, and they didn't get it from the gold. I have to pay money for them to have their degrees, and I urging you parents to use students also to ensure that you utilize the gold project and whatever project to qualify yourself, to make yourself marketable. And remember, there's life after policing.
Yeah, and we have the student there telling us, thanks, look at her, promising is she going to be celebrating it tomorrow. Yeah, we track these things. And Selvin is saying here that Mars has to be a colonial. Yes, he would have been in the colonial time, Selvin. Yeah. Now, so yeah, let me move on. We got to move quickly this morning to get to the real thing. The crystal ball misfired last week Thursday. Because last week Thursday, I told you all when I looked at the crystal ball, with the matter involving the president-elect Donald Trump, who was to be sentenced on Friday, and he had moved to the United States Supreme Court to have it deferred. And I said my crystal ball was saying that the court would have met sometime on Thursday or early Friday, and they would have granted him his wishes. Part of it was correct. The court did meet on Thursday, but the court said no. The court ruled 5-4 that he must be sentenced, and therefore on Friday he was sentenced. So no custodial time, no monetary fine, just sentence. Just a record reflect that he is sentenced. 34 convictions, and he is sentenced. So the crystal ball was 50-50. Yeah, they met, but what the crystal ball said they would have done in terms of granting him his wish, that wish was not granted. He was sentenced on Friday. So the crystal ball didn't all around, right? So let me move on to tell you, now let me say this. The Police Corporate Communication Unit, they're becoming my favorite people. I hope you recognize I'm being facetious. Every release now they give is a lot of crap they're talking. I see, they had one that a few days ago, that a 76-year-old man nabbed with an unlicensed firearm. 76-year-old man, they say, was nabbed with an unlicensed firearm. And hear what they say. Nothing wrong. If he unlicensed, whether you're 76 or 176, you committed an offense. But it's out the release, they said. And hear what they say. They never call him man. He was a 76-year-old resident of Friendship, East Bank, Demerara, was arrested last evening after police searched his home and found an unlicensed firearm in his bedroom. And hear what the police said, according to the release. Police, during an intelligence-led operation, contacted the man at his home, at his residence, informed him of the reason for their presence, and requested permission to conduct a search on his home for arms, ammunition, and drugs. He did not object and allowed the police ranks to enter and search. During the search, the police found the Smith & Wesson PK 380 firearm in the bedroom on a shelf. Police asked if he had a license. He said no. And he was informed the offense, caution, and arrested. Now, here, let me tell you this, man. If you say you're conducting an intelligence-led operation, one would have expected that you would have secured a search warrant. They are putting these matters, by now, I don't think any court and any lawyer, including a bicycle-like lawyer, can destroy these cases. Incidentally, this is not considered a serious crime, the unlawful possession of a firearm. But again, you're saying, right, you get intelligence, an intelligence-led operation. Therefore, you're suggesting you got intelligence that this 76-year-old man had an unlicensed firearm. Why not arm yourself with a warrant? And you are telling people, you want people to believe that a man who knows that he has an illegal firearm, then invite you to come in and search. That is what you're telling people? That this man, get a 76-year-old man, has an illegal firearm, a 380 PK 380 firearm. And in case you all know, 380 is 9 mm as well. Let me do a little teaching here. We used to call 380 is 9 mm short, right? So he has this firearm, and you went there, and you tell you come to search your arms and ammunition. You ain't got no search warrant. So the man say, I'd come in and search. You search and you find this firearm. You think people believe you? You think you are believable? I am saying that if it's an intelligence-led operation, the standing order and all the laws get a search warrant. And you go on your search, you cover yourself with a search warrant, but you come to tell people that the man allowed you in sometime in the night, right? The man said, I'd come in and search, knowing that he has an illegal firearm there. It doesn't ring true. It is not credible. It is not. So I am saying this to say that the police cooperate propaganda unit got to come better. And again, like people not vetting what the nonsense that they're telling us. And then they have a next one. Let me read this one. This one a little long. But I think you all got to understand what is going on. It is reported, I think, this morning, in today's people, one of the peoples, I forgot to say which one, that the Ghana Police Force team, a police team from Regional Division 1, acting on information received, proceeded to Tenapo, Bagdam, Northwest District early today, Sunday, that's yesterday, where they conducted a raid exercise. We don't know it's a raid exercise. But they conducted a raid exercise and found 2 shotguns and 52 grams of marijuana. Here's what the police release said. Upon arrival at the camp of one Randall Duncan at approximately 1 hour yesterday morning, utilizing a torch and generator lights, observed an unidentified male of African descent, dressed in a pants but shirtless, on the top floor of a wooden camp. The man quickly stood from his amok, walked to the camp's back door, and tossed a long black object, suspected to be a firearm, into some nearby dry bushes. This raised the ranks of suspicion. Or that's what they say. This raised the ranks of suspicion, prompting them to investigate. Police subsequently found an object which they identify as a suspected black semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun. Upon examination, it contained 4 live rounds of 12-gauge cartridges. Police contacted the male, identified himself as a 24-year-old Venezuelan pork knuckle from Brutus scheme, Porique, his Bagdam. He was shown the firearm and questioned if he has his firearm license status, which he said he did not have one. He was informed of the offense, cautioned, and he responded that the gun is, but he does not have a license. Now, let me understand this thing, everybody. Let me understand. You, based on what they're saying, first of all, what is a raid exercise? It's not like a raid exercise. Not like a raid exercise, unless you know the squatter now implement that. Then they say on a here this Nancy Z-class movie here. They approximately 1 round utilizing torch and generator lights. Observe an unidentified male of African descent. The man walked to the back door, counted them, tossed an object into the back. Now, how you linking this object to this man? Even if he said to you then, is he own? How do you link it to him? Because basically you're saying he confessing. You think when he reach before the magistrate, you will maintain that confession? They're giving these things because basically what they communicate as a release is a lot of the evidence they are bringing out, which should not be made public at this stage. You had a raid or you had an exercise, a firearm was found, you suspect, because in the circumstances that you have outlined, you use torchlight, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and some generator light, and you see this man show this object, and you go in the area and you see a gun, and you assume or you presume that what the object that he showed is the same gun that you find. That ain't going no place. That ain't going any place. And all because of what the corporate communication unit is telling us here. And I don't know, Mr. Blanham, Deputy Commissioner of Crime, it's about time you put an handle on this thing, because these matters, because of all this nonsense that they're telling people, they lose credibility, and it can adversely affect any prosecution. They ought not to be. What value does this bring to say that you had torch and generator lights, and the man had on a pants but no shirt? What value does that bring to the release that should be given by the police? And then they go on to the next one. They say, then 2:30 the same morning, they went to another nearby camp owned by the Podiman name. They were informed of the people were informed of the reason for the police presence, and they all complied with the search. Here again, you go in on a raid operation or raid exercises, yeah? No warrant. So I said, while searching the workers' camp in the presence of two men, police discovered a black single-barrel 16-gauge shotgun without serial number, which contained 16 cartridges hidden under a mattress on a makeshift wooden bed belonging to one of the people. How you know that? The weapon was shown to him, and he was informed of the rank suspicion, to which he replied no when asked if he had a firearm license. And a lot of crap that's in. Then they go on further. Further searches reveal 8 live 12-gauge cartridges in 2 cartridge boxes and 1 single live 222 rounds found in a long boots belonging to Williams. Consequently, both he and the next one, the sole occupants, were arrested. That is what they're giving as a press release. They're supposed to be a press release. That is not a press release. Let me say, that is not a proper press release. You can't, when you give a press release, you stick to the basics, what you know. But when you come into all them speculation and all them things, it is not a press release. And I'm saying that those statements that they're making now can prejudice the trial. Because, of course, these people, they get some lawyer, the lawyer going to look at the statement they say, find a whole set of holes in the statement, and attack the credibility of the witness and whatever story is being presented. It is craziness. And again, we say that these things that they talk about, even though they blow it up, the one with the 76-year-old man, the one with these people that find the gun, these things are not reported or not recorded as serious crimes when the president and them come to tell you about serious crime. Now, matters like these are not considered serious crimes. And it's not me saying so. It's their records saying that. Let me bring in Mr. Conway before I move on. CC, your views.
Putting in a little context here, apparently search warrant is a thing of the past. Here is it. They're saying they get intelligence-led, no search warrant. If you get intelligence, for you to execute search place, you got to get a search warrant. You go to the magistrate, or if the magistrate isn't there, the justice of the peace in the area, and you swear to the information to search, and it will say clearly what you're searching for, and the time in which the search is to be executed. And at stations too, you have to get a work on a warrant book. We write it, and if you go and find anything, you have to back the warrant, say we're fine. Go and get a search warrant. And don't tell me nonsense that you requested and people agree for you to search. And don't tell me you go and tell a man the reason for your search. Say exactly what you told the person, but the reason why you're there. And the search warrant too, when you go to magistrate and the JP, it's got to be confidential, because at stations, police has leak out information. They call a friend and say, hey, somebody's coming with a warrant to search you. Like what happened with Nanlal when they were investigating for thieving law books. A policeman went to the court in front of the magistrate in open court and applied for a warrant, and the man said, oh, warrant to search Nanlal premises, come back at 2 o'clock. And by 2 o'clock, I think word got to Nanlal and he adopted a certain course of action. And when I go, they draw double blank. So the thing is that you have to get search warrant, get a warrant, and when you get a warrant, you CYA, you cover your ass, or your SYA, you're saving your ass, or you get what is called keto, you get kicked in the ass. So make sure that you're armed with warrant, and more so you have intelligence. And then you got to prove possession. And possession is either actual possession or constructive possession. Actual possession is where you have it on your person, and constructive, you have it elsewhere under your control. And my friend Compton Richardson, in lecturing to us when I do Prescription, you talk about the mental aspect of possession. You know of the article and your intention to control it as your own. So you have to get possession. And apart from that too, you got to look at the chain of custody, how you handle it. And also most of those things you need to be properly analyzed, forensic investigation, the ballistics man and all kind of thing. You check for fingerprint and all sort of thing, you know. But the thing is that they're doing things. They're going in people's house and say people who if they requested a search and people agree and they find X, Y, and Z. Any good lawyer would move to have that article, they have that evidence being suppressed. They call the Americans call it, they said the forbidden fruit of the poisonous tree. It was illegally obtained, the forbidden fruit of the poisonous tree. You know, it's high time police get their act together, and it's high time when they want to go and search, they go with a search warrant. And then you telling me you find a bullet in a long boots, and you're saying if the long boots is the man is the man long boots, therefore the ammunition in there belongs to him. What kind of nonsense is that? You know, so much of nonsense we have in this releases. Police has got to do better in terms of when they're searching and when in terms of getting possession of things. I'm repeating, actual or constructive possession. Actually, you have it in you. Constructive is elsewhere under your control. The mental aspect, you know of it and you have fully control of it and your intention to treat it as your own. And they're just barging in people's place. Yeah. It's high time, because I repeat it myself that the lawyer gonna move to suppress that evidence. They say it is a forbidden fruit of a poisonous tree, and the case gone down the drain. And I know you handle it too. How you handle it, you know. So much nonsense going on when we hear to find things, you know, that I can't see them cases really standing up in court. No way.
Well, most of these things, people that know are going to plead guilty because they then get the resources to retain counsel. Now, let me address one of these people coming. Let me put it up. So I see one of the students already addressed. Some P. Shivnath, you're trying to get a sense and a sense and agenda of this program. You want to know if it's the sole purpose to bash the Guyana police force. Any thoughts on maybe providing alternate solutions? But like you weren't listening, everything that was said just now, the correct thing was pointed out. Everything, Shivnath, like you're not listening. They send you, but like then send somebody who can read and analyze or listen and learn. Everything that we said, we identify the errors and we have pointed to what should be the correct thing. Yeah, Mr. Conway just explained in detail. You have to get a search warrant. You have to state what you're going to search for. You can't have said that it was an intelligence-led operation, meaning that you had intelligence before you went on the operation and you did not secure a search warrant. The law requires that you do so. And to tell people that when a man got an illegal firearm in the house, and when you went there, you told him that you came to search for arms, ammunition, and narcotics. You told him that. And knowing that he has illegal firearm in the house, he tell you how to come in and search. The things is not logical, and that is what we're saying. The lawyers are going to get a field day in these things, with these things. A field day. And it has to do, as somebody said, with training. It has to do with the training of the ranks. Because it is time that these people understand that you things like search warrant should be a must, especially when you talk about intelligence-led operation. It's not something that came to you suddenly. You had intelligence, hey, this man got an unlawful firearm. So therefore you decide that you're going to go and search. Make sure that you do the right thing. And to obtain a search warrant ought not to be that difficult. That difficult. So this man, whoever he name, come and talking crap. They send them, but they, just like them, they don't. They can't read, they can't listen and internalize. They come to bash, but we're ready for you. When you come, we are ready. We explain look, as I've said, in the past, we would have we would have been invited to the police and we would have been able to make presentations on policing and these things. But we are now person non grata. But we feel we still have an obligation to pass it on. We might be using unconventional method, but the information, the policemen themselves have been telling us how beneficial this program is. So beneficial under this program is. And then he come in now, Air Shivnath again. Air Shivnath. So under the APNU, everything was running well on machine. Mr. Shivnath, sir, goodbye. This is not a program for you. This is a program for people who want to learn. Obviously, You don't want to learn, they send you. Tell them you come to the right church, but you're in the wrong pew. So we don't tolerate foolish people. We want people who will learn. So once you're gonna come with your politics, but under P and AP and U and all them crap, this is not the place for you. Go to that other morning program where the man with the boardness when he had discuss up and so on. This is not the place for you. I can't to the thing bye Felicia or bye Felicia, whatever they say. We don't want you. We don't have any use for you on this program. Now let me move on. Now last week we reported, and let me put it in sequence. Last week it was reported that Senior Superintendent M. Nat Shah, the man who was the commander of Region Police Division 1 at the time when all this cocaine, tons of cocaine was found, right? That he was, and we know shortly after there was a report in the newspaper, I think Kaicho News it was, that the commander was fingered in the cocaine bust. He was removed from Region 1 and he was put to head the transport workshop of the Ghana Police Force. He took over from a cadet officer, right? We learned last week that this man now has been elevated to the position of second in command of operations of the Ghana Police Force. So therefore, in a position, if you look at the administrative charge, where he's ahead of all the commanders, even the people who are very senior to him, because in the administration of the force, the chart tells you, you have the commissioner, you have the deputies, and under the deputy commissioner operation is 2IC operation, and under that, then you get the divisional commanders, head of the transport, and so on. It goes on like that. So we said so. Now, I think we said so on Monday. Can't remember now. So, well, Travis Chase carried the story. And then the police came out with a statement that is not so. This man is not transferred there. But Travis had his records. He had the receipts. And he posted on social media to show. And here what Travis said. After confirming that Senior Superintendent M. Nat Shah has been elevated to the post of second in charge of Ghana Police Force operation, the Ghana Police Force has once again modified its response. The Corporate Communication Unit of the Ghana Police Force is now saying that SAR is not the 2IC operations of the Ghana Police Force. And they're quoting them to say he has been temporarily assisting in the area for the past few days. SAR is based at the Ghana Police Force headquarters in Blairi and is in charge of the police transport department. That is what I say. However, listen to this carefully. Commanders were days ago instructed that Mr. Shah has indeed been elevated to the post of 2IC operations. Yeah, thanks, Neil. And the records are there because Travis, if you go on his Facebook page, you're gonna see the communication between he and Mark Ramatar, the head of the Corporate Communication Unit, where Mark Ramatar confirmed that SAR is 2IC operations. You will also see, I think on the same thing I have seen, I'm not showing you on Travis' page, correspondence from the headquarters of the police force to commanders to say that SAR has now assumed this position. And the man who he has taken over from has now gone, Stevens, has gone to the transport workshop. So there was a switch. Stevens was at 2IC operations. He was sent to the transport workshop. And SAR, who was the transport workshop, was sent to 2IC operation. It is there in black and white. And they lie so much that they come trying to tell you, oh, that is not so. He has been temporarily assisting in the area for the past few days. He's based at police force headquarters and all this everything. That is the crap you have going on. And that is why the force has lost credibility. Nobody believes what the Corporate Communication Unit comes out with. And these things are serious because, look, police force can't function, no police force can't function without the cooperation of the public. That has long been established. And in order to get the cooperation of the public, they have to have some trust in you. But when you come in all of these crap you're writing and you're lying, and evidence is there to contradict what you're saying, people can't cooperate and support you. They're not going to do so. You might get 1 or 2 yes, with no doubt, but the majority of people are not going to cooperate with you. And when you say things, when something happens and you give a release, they're not going to believe what you're saying. They're not going to believe what you're saying. So again, kudos to Travis, because I've said repeatedly on this program, when you hear something When I see Travis Chase post something or Gordon Moses post something, I would tend to believe what they say. Not the others. The others got to take it to the pinch of grain, a whole bag of salt. So Gordon Mosley from News Source, and I told you all you got, there's a distinction between News Source and Newsroom. Newsroom is the PVP propaganda arm. News Source and HGPT News, Travis, these people are credible journalists. And I'm not saying this because perhaps I know them and we're friends. The records will support that. But the police corporate unit got to come better with these things what they're doing. But look, so we got to understand. I saw a student came on here. I don't know that he was a student, Edgar Prasad, and he want to say condolences to his squad mate. Yeah, because I think Edgar was 6540. Look at there. He wants to say condolences to his squad mate, 6536, 6 Mars family, whom I had seen since 60s. Same person that you and CC know. Edgar, oh, so good to see you on the live, my friend. Good police, Edgar Prasad. Excellent police. I think he was 6540. Edgar, you must try to share some of your experience and knowledge with these people you have in the force. Outstanding policeman, running station, investigating, Edgar Prasad. 6540, if I ain't wrong. If the memory serves me correct, was his number. Yeah, so let me bring in Mr. Conway to comment on this statement from the corporate communication unit that Shah, what I said about Shah, what I just related. CC?
I get one over you with Edgar Prasad. He was 6541. At one time, he was my SWAT, my Coney, and I learned so much about him.
Yeah, 6541. Yeah. Give out 6541, yes.
He was a detective, and then for some reason, they rewarded him to uniform, and he went to my Coney, and I learned tremendously from Edgar Prasad. He's one of my mentors. But getting back to this communication unit, mendacity. And they must like, come forward and talk the truth, and people will believe you. If you slip up, you slip up. You know, and I saw the letter with the posting with Sal and Stephen, and it's signed by Budram. Deputy Commissioner Administration signed those letters for the posting. So if Sal is no longer at operations, perhaps the transport officer must have transported him somewhere. I hope it's not Matthews Ridge.
Yeah. Comrade, share the life. We don't get it warm up. Yeah, Edgar, somebody reminded us here too, Edgar was an outstanding court prosecutor. Outstanding court prosecutor. And then I think at some stage, he went up the Office of Professional Responsibility. I remember when I was 2IC A Division, a report was made to me of a policeman demanding a bribe. And Edgar and I worked. The policeman was caught, get trouble. That's the way we operated then. So Edgar, it's good to see you, man. Good to see you. 6541, Edgar Prasad. Now let me move on. We reported here on this program. I'm talking here about the Attorney General, AG, Attorney General Anil Nandlal, SC, MP. We're talking about the decision to appeal the award given by the judge. You know the Quinton Bacchus murder? Quinton Bacchus was a young man that the police, some special branch, under Watts at the time, shot and killed on the east coast of Demerara. It was on June of 2022. I think it was the 10th of June. They shot and they killed him, right? Now, the family sued. The judge awarded 22 point something million. I got it here, 22.5 or some amount the judge awarded, right? And the state accepted that the policemen were wrong. The state said that the man was wrong, but they decided to appeal because Mr. Nandalal claimed that the sum awarded, $22.5 million, was excessive. It was excessive. That was what was reported. And he and the Solicitor General, and let me read a part, some excerpts. He said, when asked for an update on whether the state is appealing the decision, Solicitor General Nigel R. confirmed during the Ministry of Legal Affairs end of year press conference on Saturday that an appeal has been filed with the Court of Appeal And he says here, we felt that the judge went over where he was supposed to go in relation to the evidence. We felt that he did not take into consideration some aspects of the evidence. So we think that the matter is worthy of an appeal. We did accept liability. It's just the issue of quantum of damages we are appealing. That is what the Solicitor General said. And then the Attorney General too says, we felt that the police officers were wrong. That's what he's saying. We felt that the police officers were wrong, and there was a finding to that effect by the Police Complaints Authority. The Director of Public Prosecutions recommended criminal charges against the offending officers down the line. And I criticize him for saying things like he felt that the police officers were wrong when he knows that this matter is still before the court. And he's making such a comment, which I believe would be prejudicial to the accused person, accused and defendants. And after that, I think it was last Thursday's press conference, Bharat Jagdeo came out and said that something to the effect that the president, when he learned that they were appealing, has instructed Nandalal not to appeal and they're to pay the damages awarded. That is what they get. And I said to myself, if this man that is there as an attorney general, having made this statement that he made in relation to this matter, the president come and show you under the bus, said that ain't happening. If he had any shame, I would have gone, I would have told him I ain't serving any longer. I would have resigned my position because it's a big kick under a big bus, them Tata bus. He came out with the statement, and then he goes on to say that these things have to be challenged because you don't want the wrong precedent set and all these type of things. So the precedent will remain. He get kicked under the bus, and he ain't got no shame. And that reminds me of Jerry Govaya too, when he came out and he pronounced on the report into the helicopter crash and told us on social media that the commander-in-chief will make a determination as to whether this report will be released. And then a couple of days after, Jagdeo again come out, dashy under the bus and say, no, it's the defense board has to make that decision, not the commander-in-chief. We ain't hear back from Jerry Govaya anymore. I am saying that if these people had any shame at all, they would have decided that, hey, I can't continue to work under these conditions. You come in and make statement, and then you get in publicly, you're getting shoot down. They have no shame. And let me tell you this about the same case. You might not know. My information is that this same case that I'm referring to, the Quindan Bacchus murder trial, was set to commence this morning at the Supreme Criminal Court. Let me repeat this. My information is that the Quindan Bacchus murder trial, this murder took place on the 6th of June, 2022. Bacchus and others, I'm going to read it just now, appeared in court on the 5th of July, 2022. The extended squatter, still squatting, still extended, dismissed those ranks, 3 ranks, on the same day that they appear in court. And we have been talking about it because we say it's unconstitutional. That action is unconstitutional because they should be afforded the presumption of innocence. The Constitution guarantees them the presumption of innocence. But no, this not for the squatter. He dismissed them from the 5th of July, 2022, the same day they appeared in court. My information is that this matter, this murder trial, starts today. And might I remind you, or might I inform you, that the matter involving the other 2 ranks, Damian McLennan and Thurston Simon, charged of perverting the course of justice and something else, the matter ain't even done in the magistrate court yet. Those people have gone to court, I understand, for almost 30 times. And that matter has not been concluded. But the murder trial of Quindan Bacchus is scheduled or was scheduled to commence this morning. Chances are that the murder trial will conclude before the other trial. That is not a real place. I'm telling you this over and over. And let me read, before I bring Mr. Conway in, let me read what it is said about that matter. I have it somewhere. Bear with me. One moment, and I'm going to tell you what remind you of what transpired in that matter, with Bacchus and these people. Here it is. This is dated on the back last year, no, the 2022. Policeman Christophe de Nabriga, who shot and killed 23-year-old Quinton Bacchus, will be charged with murder. Lance Corporal Thurston Simon and Sergeant Damian McLennan, fingered in the murder, will also be charged with other offenses. And this is what a press release below issued by the DPP. This is a press release from the DPP. Hear what it says. The DPP received the report and filed from the Chairman of the Police Complaints Authority, Justice Retired William Ramlal, on the evening of 3rd day of July 2022. Justice Retired Ramlal recommended that one policeman, Lance Corporal de Nabriga, be charged with the offense of murder, contrary to common law, committed on Quinton Bacchus. The DPP has since advised the police to proceed with the institution of this charge. Advice has also been given for two other policemen, Lance Corporal Thurston Simon and Sergeant Damian McLennan, to be charged with the following offenses. Lance Corporal Thurston Simon to be charged with the offense attempt to obstruct the course of justice, contrary to Section 330 of the Criminal Offences Act, Chapter 801. Lance Corporal Thurston Simon is also to be charged with the offense of conduct to the prejudice of good order and discipline, contrary to Section 4Z of the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 17.1. Sergeant Damian McLennan is to be charged with attempt to obstruct the course of justice, contrary to Section 330 of the Criminal Offences Act, Chapter 801. Signed, then get Shalimar Aliak, SC. Well, I'm not going to go into a little other thing. But hear this. Hear this story. McLennan, the evidence show, I saw the report from the Complaints Authority. He was never in the vicinity. He was never the scene. Never, ever there. 3 Indian policemen, and I'm not talking race here. I'm talking facts. 3 Indian policemen who organized and were part of this operation. Prasad, Ramatar, and the next one, I can't remember his name now. They were there. They actively participated in this operation. Actively participated in this operation. Nothing had happened to them. Nothing had happened to them. But Simon McLennan attempt to pervert the course of justice. The evidence shows Simon was never there. They come with some cockamania story, but he said something which wasn't true and all this. Later on, when he was approached, the Nabri got charged with murder. And this matter, when you talk about breakneck speed, this is what we call breakneck speed. And I'm not saying that these matters should not be expedited, but this particular one seems to have gathered unusual attention because the offense is alleged to have been committed on June 10th, 2022. They appeared in court for the first time to answer the various charges on July the 5th, 2022. The preliminary inquiry into the murder charge against the Nabriga concluded sometime last year, March or April, around that last year. He was committed to stand trial at the High Court. And the matter, according to the information, was set to commence this morning. That is what we call breakneck speed. And we are aware that people in jail languishing 4 or 5 years for murder too, languishing in the jail for murder. And again, I'm not saying that this matter should not be expedited. All matters should be expedited. But I'm saying that something seems very unusual with this matter. Very, very unusual. The breakneck speed with which this matter is proceeding. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to address this matter, and then I'm going to say something more. But CC?
Yeah. You know, I was shocked when Nanlal gave notice that he's going to appeal the decision of the judge. The quantum, he talked about quantum, and the Solicitor General also was there and he concurred with what Lanel said. It's showing how they feel that life is very cheap, you know. The females who died in that Maggio fire, parents, $5 million. Persons sue defamation of character, they get 20 million and others. But there is a life brutally taken away. the judge ordered the compensation for the estate, and there's it. The Attorney General of all persons going to appeal it. I'm happy that through the second vice president, he said that the president has said, hey, throw Nanlal under the bus. And the thing is that, them are ashamed. Them, according to Lincoln Lewis, he said the strength is, they're not ashamed. Don't mind what you talk about them, they're not concerned, they don't care. I remember reading a couple of years ago a case with a judge in England, UK. He drove at night during sometime after midnight. He drove through they call it a red light area where prostitution was taking place, popular place, and he drove slowly, stopped a couple of times, wind down his windows. He didn't talk to anybody, and people saw him and picking up. A couple of days after, he resigned. And then I remember the Archbishop of Canterbury recently resigned, the most senior Anglican, because he said he failed to properly supervise allegation of sexual misconduct by one of his priests, But these people, they should go along the way. Nandalal blunder so much times. We had where the Caribbean Court of CCJ pull him before the courts, calls where they're saying that he prematurely released the decision of the court, and then he blamed it on an unnamed IT administrator. We had a case where the judge cited Saddam Hussein. I can't remember his name, Saddam something, of the chief education officer for contempt of court. And Landlord said he didn't see the final document. He was part of it, didn't see the final document. You can't have the Attorney General blundering. And then in last sometime he quoting wrong section of the Constitution. I think it's time he go along way. It's high time he go along way. And then breakneck speed, as you mentioned, that the murder case would start today. People languishing in the jail, 10 years, 15 years. I know a case that finished last year with a policeman who was interdicted for 10 years. It finished last year. I know they can't find the file. They said they can't find the file, they're starting people. But 10 years it didn't matter take. Now this one, a breakneck speed, or we say in labor time, they're dealing with it. The bottom line is that, according to them, the Attorney General, maybe they feel that life doesn't worth anything. Life doesn't worth anything. And more so, I don't like to talk race, and more so if it comes from a particular race.
Let me say this. You mentioned the story with the CCJ, where they found that he brought that court into disrepute. That was the allegation. Justice Witt, the late Justice Witt, I think is the person who said so. And so many other things. Don't forget that he sued Melissa Atwell, known as Melluel, because she said that she accused him of snitching, of passing information and all this. I'm waiting to see how they're going to go. So this is a man, a lot of things are there. He admitted those things. He mentioned those things in the court document, that all the things that she claimed that he telling her and so on. And he's there. This man, I would say that he ain't got no shame, because if I were in this position and I get thrown on the bus like that, like the vice president, I would have find some shame and say, look, I can't continue to serve in this position any longer. Thank you very much for the time you have allowed me to do so, but I'll keep getting up. As the people say, I will keep getting up. Comrades, folks, ladies, gentlemen, we come into this Brutus matter now, and I think you need to fasten your seatbelt. You need to get your Coke and your popcorn, and more than that, you need to share the live. Share the live so other people can benefit from this. And what I'm talking about here, what we are about to talk about. Calvin Brutus, Assistant Commissioner of Police, and he's also an attorney at law. He got into legal trouble, and none of them blame speaking out. They blame speaking out. And before I go there, I wanted to compliment speaking out. I'm referring to this same where the Attorney General was forced to discontinue the lawsuit in the Quindon Bacchus case. I have to compliment us and compliment the other social media people who are highlighting this matter and bringing this matter to public attention. We call it, we call out the matter for what it was. A man is killed, his estate is awarded $22.5 million, and the Attorney General said he believed that was too much. He said that was too much. We called them out. We called them out. And we said, no, that cannot be. These people are unconscionable. And I know the Vice President orders. I know what take place, but they tell Nandalal, you're not going forward with this matter. So we got to compliment ourselves, because I am telling you, had we and others remained silent, he would have gone and do what he got to do. And don't forget that this is an election year too. So I guess they felt that it would not have been in their best interest to have this disgraceful appeal continue. So yeah, we want to continue to come here and we're going to call them out. Now coming back to this Brutus thing. This Brutus saga. Brutus, on this program, we highlighted early last year, I think it was. It started out with a $16.5 million that it was said was attempted to be laundered through the police credit union. They jump up, we keep hammering, say, yeah, because we had the evidence. We saw the receipt where this money was deposited, and then when the person in charge recognized, because the person in charge was not there, the money was returned to him. We saw, still have the receipts and all of that. $16.5 million. He said the source of income was some before, during, and after wedding reception. That is what he said was the source of income. Right? So the matter gone, and the dancing, the extended quarter tell people, no investigation, and no money and lunch and all of that. Well, eventually it revealed that not only that $16.5 million, but he lodged $40-something million in the bank account, which triggered a suspicious transaction investigation with the Financial Intelligence Unit. And this whole big investigation started. Brutus then, it was said that what happened, that they came and they were instructed to move from admin, put here special branch. The man of special branch watched to operations, and the man of operation Budram to administration. The police then come out with one of them stupid statement again, the same corporate communication unit. So it's not transfer, it's just an attempt to rotate to gain experience and all this everything. Brutus then, shortly after, because we told them here that if an investigation is going on, because they said that, but before they go there, they said that Brutus requested to go on leave to facilitate this investigation. We made the point that if an investigation is going on, nobody should request to go on leave. You should be sent on administrative leave. So he went on leave. It would appear as though the vacation leave, when it was expired, they listened to what we said, and they decided they're going to send him on administrative leave. I told them the case and all this everything. I told them the case, Moti Duki versus the Attorney General versus David Rabnarine. That's the case decided on by Justice Carbin. I told them, I gave them all the information. All right. Somehow, ropes men got involved. That's what Brutus claimed. You know, ropes men get involved from the Ministry of Home Affairs in this. This has nothing to do with the Ministry of Home Affairs. This should have been a letter from the acting squatter at the time to the Police Service Commission to say this man appeared in court, and based on that, or the man is being investigated first. In the first instance, the man is being investigated, and because of that, he should be sent on administrative leave. This has got nothing to do with Home Affairs, but somehow the Ministry of Home Affairs get involved, and they write and things. But Brutus used all of those things now. He went to court. First, we were told that he attempted to leave the country, and he was prevented. Through Timeri, prevented. He then went to court to get permission from the court to accompany his pregnant wife to the U.S. because she needed to get medical attention. The court denied him that. Well, in the response to that application, the state claimed that they were objecting to Brutus being granted permission to leave because he had over 240 criminal charges pending. That is the first time many of us would have learned of all of that. 240 criminal charges. So the judge denied him permission to leave. Then around the same time, just before that, he sued the government. He named us other people. He named He said cabinet do this. He named Ministry of Home Affairs. He named police service. Everybody sue. The only thing he must then sue is the people from the dogs from the K9 section or the arses from the Monkey branch. Everybody sue. Then we learned that he withdrew that lawsuit. Then we heard last week or before the last that he attempted to get away through Brazil. Big release on the Ministry of Home Affairs that he was seen in the car and let him heading towards the bridge there, the Takatu Bridge, and they suspected he was trying to flee. So he came up with a statement, so nothing on the start. He went to let him to visit his father. All right. Then they went to court and they sought asked the magistrate to revoke his bail and remand him to prison. That did not take place. So he did. So I said, well, all right, the man can chill now and prepare for his defense, 252 charges. I get a surprise. I tell you, nothing should surprise you. I was surprised last week. I think it was Friday. Brutus has now sued the government. He sued the Attorney General, and he claiming all other things. Let me read some of the things he's saying. We don't have enough time to go through all of this morning, but he's claiming racial discrimination. Basically, that's what he's claiming. Because he's saying here, I got the affidavit and everything here, he said that in the last quarter of 2020, at a meeting involving Vice President, the Vice President, Ministers of Government, Commissioner of Police, and other government officials, a directive was given by Vice President that the structure of the Guyana Police Force should mirror the ethnic composition of the population in Guyana. This will be reflected in the areas such as recruitment, promotion, and training. It was described as a government diversity policy. Then he goes on to say this policy was immediately discriminatory to members of the Guyana Police Force of African descent, as the force ethnic composition did not mirror that of Guyanese population. It is estimated that 90% of members of the Guyana Police Force are Afro-Guyanese. He goes on to say in the immediate aftermath of that policy, unqualified officers of the force were seen ascending to positions and opportunities ahead of other officers who were more suitably qualified because of their race. 7, the result of this policy was to line up officers of East Indian descent for top positions in the Guyana Police Force. The claimant, he expressed his frustration to the Commissioner of Police, as well as the Minister of Home Affairs, Ropes Nguyen, at the weekly statutory meeting on several occasions about the effect of the government diversity policy. He said the defendant, that's Brutus, sidelined hundreds of Afro-Guyanese who were better candidates for certain roles in preference to Indo-Guyanese officers in order to meet the diversity quota. We're going to go into this a little more. That is what he's claiming. We said it here repeatedly, that and we talk about the Indianization of the command structure of the Guyana Police Force. I do not know what he's saying. I don't know if Brutus is saying it's true, that they had this meeting and this was told to them. I know that. But I know from looking at things, according to the Chinese man, something wrong. Because, and what he's not telling us, he was part of the thing because he was transferred to admin from the 16th of August. The government came into being in the 2nd. They brought him there in August, and he did allude to the fact that he was part of the thing and moving people. All of a sudden, you see the Indian officers assuming command position. So much so that you have a situation now in the Guyana Police Force, and I challenge them to debunk this, where every single senior Indian officer, and in senior here, we're talking from the rank of superintendent upward, every single one has a command position. They're either divisional commander or a branch commander. Every single one. Whereas you have Afro-Guyanese, who people claim are far more qualified than they're languishing in some side corner. It is evident, it is there. But I want to say this with Brutus. He's been there all the time. He ain't said nothing. All of a sudden, he decided he's going to talk about this. And hear the story. Hear this. He took the government to court on several occasions. He started his first court action is against this police service commission that I chaired back in 2020. Back in 2020. And this, when he took it to court, it was on the last, I think the 29th of December 2020. And he's saying that this meeting with Jack Dio and them took place in the last quarter. So it had to have been before he took the police service commission to court. He took the police officer submission to court like 2 days before the end of the year. So why he didn't see all of these things then? He didn't see this then? Did he not? And this brings me back to what the Chief Justice said when she issued the ruling. I read it. I listened to it again over this weekend. She found him to be self-serving. Because he didn't, all the years he there, they're not accusing him of thieving money. Thief how much? He get bank account $500 million and property over 300 million around the place. His wife bank account, his 2-year-old son, 2 bank accounts with over $40 million and so on inside. He hadn't seen nothing wrong then when he been there so that they could accuse him of thieving money. But all of a sudden now, you know that this thing. I know the policy was there. You could see it. Whether it was a written policy, but I know from what I observed that something was said or some instruction would have been passed for these people, the Indian officers, to gain senior positions. And I spoke about it. And again, I'm not talking race. So y'all don't get me wrong. I'm talking facts. And we identify here, at one stage, you had the same SAR at Region 1 in command. Region 2, you had Kemraj. Region 3, you had Sinarain. Region 4C, at the time, you had Pajram. Region 4B, you had Ramana. Region 6, you had Chief Prasad Bakas. Region 8, you had Mandal. And Traffic Chief, Soku, Finance Office. We saw this at the time operations. We saw it. And we said that something was wrong. Something looked strange. Brutus is now saying before the court that it was a policy of the government. But let me say this before bringing Mr. Conway. You can't talk about diversity, as they said. You have 90%, if the Guyana police force is comprised of 90% Afro-Guyanese, you can't expect them to, the minority people to dominate the promotions and the positions. But that is what you have. That is what you have. So this thing got to start, and let me say this. During my tenure in the force, efforts were made to ensure that more Indians were recruited into the force. And this is a long thing from long. People thought they weren't coming because of cultural other reasons and all that sort of thing. The fact is, Indian Guyanese, East Indian as you would call them, were not joining the police force. That is a fact. And Larry Lewis, in his wisdom, decided that he was going to open the police training college at Adventure on the quarantine course. You know why? I was there as part of the opening, right? Because one of the things that the Indians had said, that either coming from the quarantine and far-flung areas, during the training period, which was 6 months, they hardly get opportunity to go to their families. Whereas the people who live on the East Coast and Georgetown and West Dem, you get a one-day pass, you get a weekend pass, you can run to your family at afternoon and so on. But they did not have that. So Larry Lewis decided we're going to open the college in Adventure to attract Indians in the area. So that when they get off duty, they can run home to the family can even come there and visit them and so on. And what happened? Check the records. Then he took a next stage, he took a next step. He went to study on the Essequibo Coast and he opened another branch of the college there, named it Richard Feikel College. Same thing. I understand now they have a technique from tongue to send to those colleges for training. It is a historical fact that the Indian persons are not joining. They talk about diet, they talk about all. We have seen reports way back in the 60s, reports were a commission of inquiries and all that. So to come now and to tell us that the force must mirror the country, I mean, you're being disingenuous because the people are not joining. How are you going to make sure that how are you going to say that it is representative when they're not joining? First, you got to make sure that they join so that the numbers are there. But that is the reality. Like Lewis went so far that he recruited a whole squad of what we used to call Amerindians, indigenous people, and had them train in the college. I think they went to Adventure, old squad, because he saw that. And he saw the difficulty in getting those ethnic groups to come. And we changed the policies to try to accommodate them. But you get to the stage, as Brutus is saying, 90% is still Afro-Guyanese. 90% of the force is made up of Afro-Guyanese. You got to look to see how you can address that in a very proper and equitable way. Let me bring in Mr. Khan. We have had a mouthful on this. CC, your views. with Mr. Brutus and his claims.
All right, let me go back a bit. This thing about racial imbalance in the police force, it started a long time ago, and the action to be taken. So remember, they had the ICJ report, and they talk about the racial imbalance, and I think they had recruited most of the people, them 7,300 or there about police. We used to call them ICJ police, and even Kerry Jagan contributed to this. Because when he was in the opposition, he said he saw the police as an oppressive arm of the state, and he used to encourage the Indians not to join the police force because he saw it as an oppressive arm of the state. And lo and behold, the government changed and they came in the power and they decided that they're going to take in a lot of Indians. But the people not coming. And you're right. When Larry Lewis opened that college in Barbies there, I was the man from the beginning. I was the commander there. I spent 4 years there. I opened it. And let me talk a little story. I remember I was on leave. I was on, I think, 90 something days leave. And on the 60 something days, I had a lot of beard on my face. I didn't shave. And Larry Lewis took over as commissioner and he sent for me. And I went and see him. And the first thing here, the conversation went like this. I can't call certain words. Conway look like and he used a word, terrorist. I said, sorry, I'm on leave. He said, and furthermore, I understand you're an ambitious young man. He used a fancy word in front. I said, yes, sir. Oh, you're telling me yes? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, you the man I want. It was a Friday afternoon. He said, I open a college in Barbies and I want you go there and open it for me. I said, but I'm on leave. He got up and he shake me. He said, thank you, God bless you. Monday morning, find yourself in Barbies. And I went in Barbies. And even before that, when Larry Lewis went on an inspection, and talk about notified inspection, not like how they confirm squatter jumping by the place. He went to Adventure and he looked at the place, derelict buildings, rundown place, and he told Winston Felix, who was then second in command of Bob, he said, I'm going to do some training here. And Felix said, jungle training. He said, no, jungle training. I'm going to make this a place of excellence. And we did make it a place of excellence. I think it run down now. But the thing is that, as you rightly said, is that they was to encourage East Indian to join the Guyana police force because they said they come from Burmese, them and gain tongue and train, and they want to stay real far from the family and all kind of thing. And the thing was to recruit them, train them, and post them right in the division there. The same thing happened to Essequibo. Although sometime after people start analyze the thing and said they recruit there, they train there, you post them there, and after a while the thing become like incest. They had dealing with the Mati countrymen and all kind of thing. So the opportunity was there and still is for them, but not now, because right now people not joining the force in the Essequibo and in the Barbies as they ought to. So they're recruiting people from Georgetown and send them to Barbies for training. They're recruiting people from Georgetown and send them to Essequibo for training because those people there aren't joining the Guyana police force, maybe for obvious reasons. But getting back to Brutus, wasn't Brutus the chief cook and bottle washer? Wasn't he there as the main man? Wasn't he there as the admin man? I remember when the Home Affairs Minister Ben wrote Happy, sent a letter to Happy saying the following officers that proceed with criminal charges against the following officers. And he mentioned also the name I could call some Cooper, the late Cooper, Azor, Stanton, and others. And later on, the same Brutus is he who write them and tell them, hey, that criminal investigation is being launched and then just criminal investigation, no detail. Breach the Constitution which say that the person must be told in language that he understand and in detail what you're investigating. Brutus just write and say the investigation, criminal investigation being launched and you. And he sent it to the Police Service Commission too, the names. And he didn't write as for commissioner on his own behalf. And remember, we rejected it. Send the names to the Police Service Commission, and they're all Afro-Guyanese. So that you're saying that criminal investigations being launched so they can get promotion, making the way for Indians to come forward and be promoted. And they were promoted up to now. Stanton get promoted, Azoren get promoted, well, Kupadai and others, those persons who Ben said we must proceed with criminal charge. And Brutus was part and parcel of it. Remember the Chief Justice said he's self-serving? He been in it. He was there. We say hook, line, and sinker. So I'm surprised he coming now and talking against the same policy that he was part of. I won't be surprised if later on he withdraw it. But Brutus was there from the beginning and he participated. I know we're going to say he was instructed, but if they give you instruction and the instruction is wrong, the instruction unlawful, you are not bound to comply with those instructions. Them move Brutus from Borbies and bring it as a junior man as put in charge of admin, a place that is set aside for deputy commissioner. And he was there doing all the work, do all the things for the government there, and so I'm surprised that he now coming forward and talking against the old policy that he was part and parcel of. I didn't know they had a policy. I didn't know they had a policy. All we were looking around and see the posting and see that how they were Indianizing the command position of the force, putting Indians who are incompetent, always saying they resurrected Dr. Lawrence Peter principle, where you're promoting incompetence, and that's what they do. Bypass persons who are competent. Take people like Paul Williams, Dr. Paul Williams, and send him to COVID-19 then. Send Stanton to COVID-19. Send Azor to COVID-19. And when COVID-19 finished, they send him to the CDC. Stanton is still there. Azor is still there. Stanton is over 10 years as superintendent. No criminal charge, no disciplinary charge, but he's being bypassed. Same thing with Azor too, and being bypassed by Indians. So if what Brutus is saying, because it was a government policy, I believe him.
Right. Now let me say this. You made the point that Azor and Stanton and others weren't promoted. I want to remind you that they were promoted by the commission that we chaired. And Nandlal said the government is not going to recognize those promotions. That since 28, well, he made a statement on the 29th of June, 2021. And up to now, they have not recognized those promotions. They have not recognized the promotions. And I must add, not only of the Afro-Guyanese, but also the Indians who were promoted at that time. They have not recognized the promotion. And this is the people that we are dealing with. So for Brutus now to come, I want to see where this is going, because I see some strange things. He talks about the extended squatter. He talks about the public service, the police service commission. And yet still they're not named as respondent in this lawsuit. And I noted too, in this here, he had a new team of lawyers. He has a new team of lawyers. He is, according to what they call notice of appointment, he has Mr. Darren Wade, Mr. U.C. Anderson, Miss Rima Marcus, and Miss Cassidy Nurse are the lawyers now. Remember first, he had Earl Daniels, he had Bess, and he had Ali Cock. They were the people, but like he showed them as the boss. They are not there. So let me see where this will go. Let us see where this will go. But let me tell this to Mr. Brutus as we go into the next thing. I'm not a representative of Brutus. We're talking about the law and the Constitution and policing. We mentioned last week that the Police Service Commission currently is not properly constituted. Since the death of the member, Mr. Mark Conway, Police Service Commission is not properly constituted because the Constitution says that the Police Service Commission shall comprise of a chairman, the chairman of the Public Service Commission, and 3 other members. So in other words, 4 would have gone to the president. From the 4, You have to select one as the chairman. He did all of that. Article 210.4 of the Constitution makes it clear. Let me read what it says. We spoke about it last week, but we're going to repeat it. If the office of an appointed member of the Police Service Commission is vacant, or if the owner thereof is for any reason unable to perform the function of his or her office, the president, acting after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition, may appoint a person who is qualified to be appointed as a member of the commission to act in that office. Any person so appointed shall, subject to the provisions of paragraph 3, continue to act until a person has been appointed to the office in which he or she is acting and has assumed the function thereof, or as a case may be, until the owner thereof resume such function. So we are saying that according to Article 210.4, since Mr. Conway died, the constituted is no longer, the commission is no longer lawfully and constitutionally constituted. And I say to you, Mr. Brutus, because I know you like go to court and so on. If it is, we understand from a previous document that the Police Corporate Communication Unit indicated that you were suspended or you were interdicted from the 2nd of December 2024. Mr. Mark Conway died sometime in November. So from the time of his death, the Police Service Commission is no longer properly constituted. If they serve you with any interdiction letter after that period, after the death of Conway, that is not lawful. That is not lawful. So you got to tell them to quote you that. Either serve it on you. And you have a successful case. I don't know what is causing the delay for the president to appoint someone to fill that vacancy. What is causing the delay? In the meanwhile, policemen who are deserving of their promotion can get promoted. You promote the squatter on the 19th of December and others. But you have other people, other officers, other inspectors, subordinate officers can't get promotion for what? People are demoralized. They are demoralized. The last promotion they had in the police force, the last senior promotion, was that list on the, I think it was the 2nd of July, 2022. And I gave you all the background to that. So you have a situation of people retiring at the wrong grade, all of that. How you can expect the president to talk about cooperation and people respecting the force and supporting each other? Can't happen. People are demoralized, and rightly so. They already ain't getting enough money when the month comes. People beating up police all over the place. Now for them to get this little promotion, especially when a person is due to retire, you want a little tap up on your benefits and so on. Can't get it. Can't get it. And all the president has to do, according to Article 210.4 of the Constitution, is to, of course, you got to go through the process where they're going to identify someone. He call in, he consult with the leader of the opposition and make the appointment. They have been using the letters as consultation. I maintain that that cannot be meaningful consultation as the Constitution demands, but that's what they've been doing. Gail Teixeira wrote and said we're going to promote the commission and deputies. Mr. Norton, leader of the opposition, wrote back and said in favor of the king being appointed. And then Gail Teixeira wrote back and said, notwithstanding what you said, we believe he's doing an excellent job. And we're going to appoint him. They went ahead and they appointed him, even though he had passed the retirement age, even though the legal people, not the legal people, the knowledgeable people, except for knowledgeable, said that nothing wrong constitutionally and all these things. That is what we have. Fill the vacancy so that discipline can be dealt with, so that promotions can be dealt with. But you're not filling the vacancy 2 months down the road and going. The vacancy has not been filled. And let me go on before, as I've said to you all, people just come and they'll say, well, get a little time. People say all sorts of things. When they talk about promotion, I know, because I was at the Service Commission, we were at the Service Commission from 2018 to 2021. And among the things that I saw there, where ministers getting involved, I said, no. I didn't see that in the Constitution. For example, when a report was made that a person committed a disciplinary breach, I was shocked to discover that the police used to send the thing for us to the Ministry of Home Affairs, and then the PS would write to the Police Service Commission to say that the minister has no objection to disciplinary charges being instituted. That's where that come from. where that comes from. No. I told them anything to do with discipline according to what the Constitution says must come from the police straight to the Police Service Commission. You might want to inform the minister of the action you took. That is up to you. But no minister writing to the Police Service Commission that I am chairing to say that he has no objection. I tell them there's nonsense. I'm not accepting that. We also knew that when the list of promotions were decided on at the Police Service Commission, the constitutional body, it had to go to other places to be approved. Nonsense. When we sat and we made promotion in 2018, 2019, 2020, when Brutus challenged the thing, what that wasn't made as yet, then we finally released it in 2021. We sat, we deliberated, we decided on the people to be promoted, and once we agree and we sign off, we sent it to the commissioner. We sent a copy to the minister as courtesy for his information. We sent a copy to Office of the President for information. That's it. For information, not to get no approval. There ain't no way in the Constitution. And I could tell you this for those of you who believe. I had the privilege in 1989 to be selected to lead a contingent of policemen from Guyana to serve in the United Nations in Namibia. I was awarded a peace medal. All of us were awarded peace medals for that. We went sometime around June. We left in June 1989. We came back in 1990, around April, May in 1990. I came back with flying. I excelled. You know, all the reports were so nice from the commissioner there, Irishman in Fanning. And all of these people wrote gloriously about Assistant Superintendent Paul Slow. Me. They wrote gloriously. Right? I came back. So everybody congratulated me, the commissioner, Balan, you did so well, you did the country proud, and all of that. One Saturday morning, I went to visit the sentry at the Minister of Home Affairs residence, Stella Odiali. And Stella Odiali found out that I was Paul Slow. I think we had my name tag and something she signed. She said, Officer, you? I said, yes. She was eyeing compliment, we did the country proud, and she went on to say, no, you got to be promoted. Me not ask nothing. That's what I said. Fine. Of course, you had swell up a little bit with all the accolades and so on. Later that same year, we had a big clash with Mr. Lewis, the commissioner, because he took over from Balan Ragabir, and prior to taking over, he had assured me, because of the delay in paying us our money that we had earned, right? And he assured me that once he took over, he's going to start the issue out. So when Lewis took over, the whole matter swing now. He told me that the finance officer at the time, Fried McDonald, told the commissioner that he did not see any document which says that the money that was paid over by the United Nations to Guyana should come to us who serve. Fortunately, I had gone to a briefing at the United Nations, and I had all the documents outlining the conditions of service. And I was able to write and make an argument that this money should come to us. And they eventually agreed that the money can come. And I know if you remember, we had a big parade at Culture Center, big parade with the President Oit and all of those people. And then later on, we had a dinner at the police sergeant mess. Mr. Oit came there to that dinner. I, as the head of the contingent, sat to the left of Mr. Oit, the president. Mr. Lewis, the commissioner, sat to the right, and conversation going on as well. And the president turned to the commissioner and said something about promotion of Slow. And the commissioner told him that they're just awaiting the police service commissioner because the recommendation was made for me to be promoted. Everybody said, Slow gone high and dry. The only question is whether I would have been promoted to deputy superintendent or straight to superintendent. At the end of the year, on the 31st of December 1990, when the promotion came out, Slow wasn't included. And I know the reason why Slow wasn't included. And I'm saying this to say that even though the president asked, he asked the commissioner told him yes. The Minister of Home Affairs told me yes. And I wasn't promoted. Fast forward to what happened prior to us taking over and what happened now. All them promotion got to be sanctioned by president, a minister, and other people. The Constitution does not say that. So I went through that for you to see how things were different. For those who just come and they'll say, well, I and Granger, I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission for 3 years, including the time that the president purported to have suspended us. Not once did President Granger or any government minister talk to me about promotion. Not once. The only interaction I had with any government official, and that was the president of a promotion, is the constitutionally mandated communication. You know, we say you have to have what we say consultation. The constitutionally mandated consultation between the president and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, only time that President Granger spoke to me about promotion. But you get now all sort of magic going on, and then people want to create the impression that that is what was going on all the time. No, sir. I tell you with Mr. Ite, I told you about President Granger. No, sir. Police Service Commission was given some, well, the Constitution says that they are the body to deal with it, and that is what happened. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, because I talk enough. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for him to have his say. CC, I'm sure you want to comment on that.
Well, it's clear, you know, the Constitution in terms of promotion, you know, appointments, promotions, removal from office, disciplinary procedure, is a sole preview of the Police Service Commission, and nobody else, no president, no president. I mean, the appointment of a commissioner and deputy commissioner, yes, they have to have meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, but government thing, no minister of affairs must come and play. No government official can come and play. And I'm proud to say that, you know, in the time that we were members of the Police Service Commission, no politician, either from both sides of the divide, did approach us. None whatsoever. We had a free run, and then if they come, we'd shut them down too.
Yeah, because we were independent. We were independent, and we follow the letter and spirit of the Constitution. I want to make that point very, very clear. But it's unfortunate that we have a situation now where, well, even now before, but at this point now, no properly constituted Police Service Commission, and therefore ranks are suffering. The ranks are suffering, all because they can't get the deserved promotion. It is unfair. And at the same time, you went ahead with breakneck speed and you promoted the extended squatter, a man who admitted to committing crimes, because I maintained that $8.5 million he said he took. He sat there, and his misconduct in public office is promoted. The deputies are promoted, and they're not triggering the mechanism to have the other people promoted. I understand that part of the reasons, one of the reasons why the promotions are not being made is because the extended squatter does not agree with the list approved by the Police Service Commission. That is my understanding. That he made recommendations, and some of the recommendations did not find favor with the Police Service Commission. I guess they're suddenly waking up and see the light that some people with criminal allegations and all of those things are made. How are you, as a credible organization, going to promote people who get pending criminal matters? In light of the fact, and disciplinary matters, in light of the fact that not so long ago, the Chief Justice ruled that it's okay to discard a person who has a pending disciplinary matter, should not be considered for promotion. He said okay for that person not to be considered for promotion. They went ahead and they promoted people who were at disciplinary matters pending. And then what they said, they then wrote to say that disciplinary matters against those persons have been dismissed. Well, how can you dismiss matters without a trial? You can't dismiss. If you want to use the word dismiss, it implies that you would have had a trial and that the evidence did not support the charge. But they say dismiss, but you can't dismiss a matter if you did not go through that proceedings. You can decide to discontinue the matter, which people might come to accept, that you might have the power to discontinue. But you can't dismiss. That's what they said, the right to say they're dismissing the matter. That is what they wrote to say. And they're very selective in this thing. And coming back to the Quindon Bacchus matter that we talked about earlier, again, The DPP instructed or directed or recommended for Simon to be charged departmentally. He can dismiss him. So therefore, he could not be charged departmentally. He is charged criminally for perverting the course of justice. Since July 2022, the matter can't done, the matter the bouncing and bouncing. And the murder charge against Christophe de Nagberger was scheduled to start this morning in the Supreme Court. Are you telling me Guyana is a replace? And as I've said before, the Indians who were involved, they who were involved in this whole operation, as a matter of fact, the leader of the operation was an Indian. One of the main actors was an Indian. People gave statement implicating the Indians. And then what happened? They weren't charged, and they're trying to keep their name out. As a matter of fact, not only that they were not charged, my understanding is that they were promoted since then. Since 2022, with this matter, they have been promoted. One, I think, was an inspector. He's now an officer. One was a corporal. He's now a sergeant. He's a sergeant. It is said that the same man who was the sergeant, they were involved in this big set of shooting up on the East Bank as well, where 88 bullets, Ben said so, were fired as a car, turned out to be a police sergeant. Turned out to be a police sergeant, the man had to drive to Providence police station for cover. The DPP instructed that they be charged departmentally because I understand they were moved from the special branch. And I think it was 5 of them. 4 got charged departmentally, and it is said, it is alleged that the 5th man, who was the driver, who is the driver of Watts, who is now the deputy commissioner, he has been bullying the inquiring officer and the investigating officer not to follow the directions or the recommendations of the DPP. That is what is being alleged. And since we talk about it here, we are saying anything. So how are you going to get a proper force when these things are happening? How are you going to get a proper force? And last week, they haven't come out and said anything yet. I understand that the same sergeant that we're talking about, Sunil Prasad, who was a key part of this operation in the Quindon Bacchus murder, he was moved from Special Branch following the shooting on the East Bank with the traffic sergeant, the Putty Summit headquarters. Information is that he is now the detective sergeant in charge of Albert Tong Police Station. A man who never investigated the matter, a man who never gave evidence in court, as far as I'm aware, never maybe even took a statement from a witness or a suspect. He is in charge of, he's a detective sergeant, I'm not sure he's in charge, at Albert Tong Police Station, an important police station like Albert Tong. Because we come to Georgetown, Brickdam, Rivelt, Albert Tong, in my days, they used to be the main stations in Georgetown. That is what you have. So when you come and they're talking about all this crap, people can see these things and begin to complain. How is it that this man, first of all, was not charged in this Quindon Bacchus murder? How he was not charged? Then you had the matter with the shooting up. So the question, was he charged in that? With the shooting on the East Bank? But then the man is transferred. Just like Shah. Shah coolly down a while for the transport workshop, 2 IC operations. The force is in a mess. The force is in a mess. And I'm going to tell you, as I've said before, once you get these people that are there now in charge of certain areas, can reform. You have a minister who said nothing. I understand he was to have a press conference this morning. Minister Ben I'm referring to. He's silent. Silent, he ain't saying nothing. He's supposed to have advisors. Harry Gill. You got a national advisor, Jerry Govaya. You ain't hearing nothing from them. Silent. I don't know what they're advising on. I don't know what they are advising on. And talking about that, we talk about notified inspections. Somebody had said here, as I mentioned at the start of the program, it is a critical element to managing any division, any station, any branch. You have to inspect. You have to inspect. The divisional commanders have to go out and inspect the divisions and bring their observations to the force administration. You got to do that. Sit down, sit the ranks down, talk to them. You got to do that. The standing order dictates that should be done. The commissioner, similarly, not this thing what you're doing You drive to this place, you get the deputies with you, and you abuse out people, and you tell them all that. That is not an inspection. That is not what the standing order emphasizes. You have to do a proper inspection. You sit at the same time at the end of the inspection, you talk to the ranks. You try to motivate them. Tell them about the policies of the force. And that's what you got to do. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we can move into the final issue. CC?
Yeah.
You want to say anything on that?
Well, I always been saying that inspection is an indispensable tool of management. Now rotation, as how they say in the other day, and there's no substitute for inspection, none whatsoever. And the standard order is very clear that once a year, the commissioner must hold what we call notified inspection, send out notice so they prepare for you. The commissioner once a year, the commanders once every 6 months, and the submission officer once a quarter. Not like what happened with the seagull management flying mechanized and then fly away. And then you go in and working with a whole set of deputy commissioners there. And they're going to talk, no, the commissioners got to go take charge. And the thing is that, as we mentioned earlier, that the commissioner would send people go up before. Paul used to check the weapons. And then the thing is, sometimes when you go and check, you find they have defective arms and ammunition at station. They get guns aren't working. They get people who go and lodge there for years when they should come down to the TSU. Yeah? They get defective firearms. What they do in the station, they must find themselves at the TSU. Huh? And then you can check the property room, you might find a lot of unclaimed property, bicycles, motorcycles, that every 6 months, that after 6 months you could write for them to be sold at public auction. And then the commissioners got to talk to them, man. Not go and talk down to them. Have a nice discussion with them. Have a nice class with them. Right? And at the end of it, this one is important. You have a little informal discussions with certain people there, with certain police and certain businessmen and the people, informal discussion after the inspection, A lot of things will come up there. A lot of decisions could be made there. Now, like I hear they had one of the seagull management at New Amsterdam there, and then they actually block off the road in Main Street so that the confirmed squatter could have gone into Little Rock Hotel there and have his meals, as the case may be. That the informal discussion with other people, that is also critical. So I'm saying that the notified inspections critical. Then it's when you go where call you'll have a warm eye view of things. You would see it, you're gonna hear it, you're gonna feel it, you're gonna touch it, you're gonna taste it. They call it a warm eye view of things. You're seeing exactly what I mean. You're hearing, you're feeling, you're gonna feel, you're touching, you're tasting it. That is what you need. And then you will take the corrective action. And then you're able to create the situation where ranks would be motivated. Now you're going, you're slamming on the traffic men. Like it's only traffic men involved in corruption. Corruption there from the top. The commissioner, $8.5 million. That's corruption as far as I could so. And many more. And we have $1.5 million for firearm and all kind of thing there. But like it's only the traffic ranks and the patrol ranks involved in corruption. Find other things to talk to them. Talk to them so that they could be motivated, that they want to serve the Ghana police force, that they want to give of the best. And I remember at a modified inspection at Henry Green had. After Henry Green, no other commission had no inspection. Right there, after the inspection, we went out and had some drinks, And he was talking to me, And he's saying, that any leader, you must pay interest and attention to your people. He said generally, the workers don't give you the all. Just hold back something. But if you pay some interest and attention to them, They give you a little of that little bit that they holding back there. They don't give you all, but they give you a little of that little bit that you hold on. I said, this is where you want for sparkle. But if you pay interest and attention to them, they're gonna give you the little extra, a little bit of that little bit that you holding back. And that's what does make you spark.
Yeah. Let me close off with this matter. You talk about the commissioner, the squatter. You know, I saw something this morning in the newspaper statement attributed to the Attorney General Anil Nandlal SC MP. The article says end to willy-nilly stops, and he says that let me read quickly apart. Attorney General, Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal SC has supported a recent directive from the Commissioner of Police Clifton Aiken instructing members of the Guyana Police Force to refrain from arbitrary stopping vehicles and demanding drivers to prove their license. Aiken never said so. I'm not coming to Aiken rescue. Don't misrepresent this thing, Attorney General. What Aiken said, as reported in the newspaper on January the 7th, traffic ranks. You are, and I quote, traffic ranks. You are creating embarrassment to this country. So with immediate effect, this coming from the commissioner now, nobody from traffic is to stop any vehicle or ask for any license without a body camera. And if you're caught, you will face the consequences. But Nandlal come in his usual manner to say that he's happy that the commissioner recently in a conversation with the police force said, you can't stop people on the road willy-nilly. He never said so. He never tell them they mustn't stop. And Nandlal goes on to say that was illegal 40 years ago. It is still legal now. You have to have reasonable cause or suspicion. That's what Nandlal said. Reasonable cause, but Aiken said that they can stop willy-nilly, provided they have a body camera on. That is the instruction that he gave. And of course, he made a lot of other stupid comments in this thing that he said. He tell them, patrol ranks, you are disrespectful to yourselves and to others. You are doing patrols, but you are not engaging vehicles. You are not driving slowly with the flashing lights on so people can really have a talk with you. Instead, you find yourself stopping and doing traffic work too. But I want to say this for the anti-crime patrols. You are to drive very slowly. You are to have the windows down. And you are to interact with everybody you see. That is what Aiken is said. Imagine that, the commissioner telling them, drive slowly. You are to have the windows down. So windows are down. You are to interact with everybody you see. And we're talking about this body camera thing. Let me close with that. Body camera has been established to be a good thing. But it protects policemen as well. So when allegations are made, the evidence is going to be there as to what exactly transpired. But buddy, you can't just implement body camera like that. You have to have a proper SOP dealing with body cameras. And I talked about this before. You have to have a standing operations procedure. From the time these cameras are uplifted, how they are to be worn, how they are to be activated, whether they must activate it. When you finish duty, what you must do with them. How are the images recorded to be to be maintained? All of these you have to have in an order. All these cameras are to be charged and serviced and all of that. But you jump up and they bring in body camera. Yeah, we have president talk about body camera for traffic. Everybody talk about. You have to have a proper standing operations procedure, SOP, which is then incorporated in your standing order to say that we now get body cameras and this is how it should work. This is how it should work. Other than that, what are you doing? If you don't set out a proper framework, a proper policy as to how the body cameras should work, what are you doing? How is the evidence to be stored or the recordings to be stored in the event? You have to give it as evidence. How it's going to be stored? Oh. And, when we assisted with the standing order, we end up getting charged with conspiracy to commit fraud. So, y'all try them with it. But I'm saying that unless you get a proper standing order as to how the body cameras should operate, you're wasting your time. you are wasting your time. And I see a comment here in respect to Brutus. He said, before this set of liars, I remember you had Daniels, you had Alikak, you had Bess, and before them you had Satram, and in between time you had Jackson, because when Travis Chase wrote something, did not name anyone, but as I said, perhaps who they kept fit, he drew the string, and he had a man by the name of Jackson wrote to Travis Chase to tell that to tell Travis Chase that he threatening lawsuit against Travis Chase, even though his name wasn't mentioned. So coming back to this body camera thing, that is what perhaps is a good thing. I don't know, but it's a new thing you're bringing in. You have to do proper training. You have to have proper SOP to deal with it. Other than that, again, you're going to just wasting time. Like how did they bring out the speed gun? And you're wasting time. Proper operational or proper standing order to deal with the body camera. Proper standing order. Let me bring Mr. Conway for his closing remarks.
Yeah, I agree with you that you got to get a good SOP. Yeah? You must have a SOP to deal with it. But let me just quickly rush through this, the same stop and search thing that we're talking about. And the Police Act, Chapter 16:01, Section 18C. Any member of the force may stop, search, and detain any aircraft, vessel, or vehicle in upon which there shall be reason to suspect that anything stolen or unlawfully obtained, or that any person suspected of having committed any indelible offense may be found. And he may also stop, search, and detain any person who may be reasonably suspected of having conveyed in any manner anything stolen or unlawfully obtained. And let me give this other one here, dealing with road barriers, Section 26. Notwithstanding any other act, any officer, inspector, or subordinate officer may, if he considered necessary to do so, for the maintenance and preservation of law and order, or for the prevention or detection of crime, erect or place or cause to be erected or place barriers in or across any road or street or in any public place within Guyana in such manner as he may think fit. So that's the law dealing with it. I can't go too much in the details, time is against us. Dealing with the road barriers, look Section 26 of the Police Act, and in terms of the power to stop, search, and detain, Section 18. And also there was a ruling in the stop, search, and detain by Justice Ramlal. It was very, very clear. He had a very good ruling in it. Maybe you can go and check out Justice Ramlal's ruling in terms of the police action for stop, search, and detain.
Yeah, I would have thought at the time that is going to form part of the training, because with a case where the police had stopped, ultimately legally, Mr. Navinja Singh, who is now a judge, and he sued and he went to court, and the judge, Mr. Ramlal, pointed out the powers of the police to stop, search, and detain. It is limited to certain circumstances. You can't just willy-nilly, as Nandalal saying, willy-nilly. But that's what they're doing. But why he using an euphemism? Well, he did say that it is unlawful. You can't just go and stop. You got to get, and he made the point. He said, here we say, when you ask for a license, I show you my license. Then you have to check my brake light. Then you have to check my blinker. Then you want to see my spare tire. You are now finding a cause to justify your stopping of me in the first place. That's what Nandalal said. Is reported to have said. But I want to make this point, that the suspicion has to exist before the stop. You can't stop and then say, well, you have to have reasonable suspicion. This is what the law says. It's not slow and Conway. You have to have reasonable suspicion before you stop. You can't stop and then say, well, you see this when you stop, and therefore that is why you stop. The law is clear, and the policemen, again, I take pity on these junior ranks in particular, because these things are not taught to them. They go in the place and monkey see, monkey do. They do what they see is taking place, and then in many cases it turns out to be wrong. And it requires training. They talk about police academy. This police academy they're talking about is like the movie, It's like the comedy movie. It's an old set of comedian you have there. But you have to, the ranks have to be properly trained. And that is what is absent now in the Guyana police force. Apart from not being properly remunerated, they don't have proper training. So some of the basic things, or some of the things that we were taught to be basic, they don't know. Just look anywhere around the road, look how Bronx directing traffic. So there's no longer approved traffic signals and so on. They're not taught these things, which is sad. Which is sad. Things like, again, somebody made the point, you have to come back to the body camera, you have to have proper procedures and so on, documented. Not the squatter come and tell you from now on, if you want those things, put it in an order. Put it in an order. But what has happened? They come with these things and then they're going to cowboy ranks. They're going to cowboy them. They're going to charge them, they're going to cowboy them, and the fear is there. And that is a sad city. Folks, we have come to the end of today's program. We just passed our 2-hour mark. Thanks for your attendance. We had a wonderful turnout this third session for 2025. God willing, of course, I ain't get me enough thumbs up. I ain't get enough thumbs up. Again, I also want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. You know, when I go through the comments, as I will do when the program is finished, and I look at some of the regulars here, some of the regulars have not subscribed to the channel. You're not contributing to the growth of the channel. I want to, and I almost forget to I almost forget to remind you that you can also make a contribution to the upkeep of this program. You have the Zelle number there, the Cash App number. Some people have contributed. We appreciate it. We thank you for the contributions that you have made. But you got to continue if you want to see us come, because I think you have been saying that we have been doing an excellent job. And do your part, man. Help me out to continue to do an excellent job. Especially, as I said, this year, election year, a lot of false information that we find around. And I think we're going to take it upon ourselves to make sure we fact check those things and bring proper, credible information to you. We're going to do that. So assist us. Those of you who are in Europe and those places, you have indicated you want to contribute, but you don't have Cash App, you don't have Zelle, contact me. I'm going to tell you how you can make a contribution via PayPal. Right? So yes, folks, God's willing, on today is Monday. So Wednesday, we are scheduled to come again and to bring you another episode of Speaking Out. So until then, stay safe. The roads in Guyana are very dangerous. Up to I think last night, I saw head-on collision at Vidunu, 2 men serious in hospital. Be careful. Be careful. And all goes well. God's willing. We'll see you again on Wednesday for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, have a good day. Bye.